What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showing some more insane battles in the Summer Cup, running the same team as yesterday's video. So we've got Salazzle in the lead, and we've got the two grass and fighting types in the back. Now if you saw yesterday's video, you'll know that I designed this team specifically to bait out Talonflame and absolutely destroy it with the Smackdown Chesnaught. But in the past few days, I've not seen a single Talonflame, so there has definitely been a massive shift in the meta, and the reason that the Talonflames are so scarce, and as well a lot of the bug types, is because there are so many more rock types in the meta, and as well Bubble Jellicent is pretty common too. But that only makes my team even stronger, because without those hard counters to the grass and fighting types, we can actually core break a lot of teams with the Chesnaught and Breloom, and you're going to see that in this video. If we can get a shield advantage and save it for the Breloom, then we're going to be sweeping a ton of teams, because not many teams are prepared to take it on now. Also, I figured I might as well say that I'm going to be going to the Pokemon Go World Championships event this weekend in London. I'm actually just going to be a spectator. I am not participating. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be there on the Sunday, so that's likely the day of the finals. But I will be there on the Friday and Saturday, and potentially the Thursday as well. So if you are planning on going to participate or just to spectate, then let me know in the comment section and maybe we can meet up there. So before we get into the battles, let's quickly go through the question of the day. Which hidden gem Pokemon have you been running on your team in the Summer Cup that you think is absolutely awesome in this meta, but hardly anyone has been using it or even knows about it in this meta? Let me know in the comment section below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle here, we lead into a Swampert. That is not a good lead for us. I'm going to switch into Chesnaught, and they come in with an Obstagoon. So straight away, I'm seeing that this team is absolutely core broken by the grass and fighting typing. If they're coming in with an Obstagoon to take on my Chesnaught, I'm going to go for the superpower here. We get the first shield from my opponent, and I realise that they went for Night Slash the first time round. They probably don't even have Cross Chop, so I'm able to get to a second superpower. Is this going to take them out? Yes it is, and we've got switch advantage and shield advantage, and they come in with Vigoroth. So I already know that this Breloom is absolutely going to love this matchup here. They switch into the Swampert, so I come in with the Breloom here. I'm going to shield this up. Hydro Cannon still does a ton of damage up against the Breloom, so it is important to have shields with the Breloom if you want to do well. Now at this point I am going to shield up again, and then I'm going to commit to the full counter farm down. They will make it to one more Hydro Cannon, but we can tank it, and we will leave this matchup with a Dynamic Punch loaded, and this Vigoroth is at almost full health. Is this going to be enough to take it out? Boom! Yes it is, and we're able to take that game. So Breloom and Chesnaught there, both core breaking that team, and you're going to see that's so common in the meta currently. So we lead into a Crustle, not a very good lead for us, but again my opponent is staying in. It looks like they don't have an answer for the Chesnaught here. They go for an X-Scissor, it doesn't do too much damage, and they come in with Vigoroth. So am I expecting another a double counter user team? We go for the superpower here, and I'm just going to let this go through. They go for the Body Slam. Because we're debuffed, that does take us out. Now at this point I'm going to come in with the Salazzle here. I know that Breloom can obviously fully counter farm it down, but at this point the Salazzle isn't very good up against the Crustle, so I might as well bring it in here. Unfortunately I farmed up a ton of energy hoping they throw a Body Slam straight away, but they didn't, so they had enough for the Bulldoze, so I do shield it there. They come in with the Crustle and they switch into the Obstagoon, and once again Breloom just absolutely destroying this team. Gonna shield once here. They don't have Cross Chop as well, but that doesn't matter. I go for one counter, go for the Seed Bomb, and then I should be able to get to one more charge move up against this Crustle, and from this range Seed Bomb is absolutely going to be taking out the Crustle, and we take that game. So going into the next match here, we lead into a Shiftry. Now my entire team does really well up against Shiftry, although if it does have the Hurricane, then that probably would nuke all three of my Pokemon very easily. So I go for a Poison Fang here. I'm going to come in with the Breloom, and I'm just going to counter them down fully. I probably will have to shield once, but I don't really mind that. As long as I keep the switch advantage here, that's going to be perfect. I know that they can't come in with the Shiftry because Breloom absolutely destroys it, but they do. They come in with the Shiftry, and at this point I know I'm just going to go for a full counter down. If they're coming in with Shiftry Life Tree, what on earth do they have in the back? They have a Lantern, and now this is just game over for my opponent. I'm going to get one shield here, go for another Seed Bomb here. This will be getting the final shield from my opponent, and I'm going to be able to get to a third Seed Bomb here, and this will do huge damage to the Lantern. Even though Seed Bomb isn't a great move, it still does massive damage. I can come in with the Chesnaught, and my opponent concedes the match because there was absolutely nothing they could do there. So going into the next match, we lead into another Crustal. So Crustal is a very common lead, but I've found that with Crustal leads, they typically don't have an answer for the Chesnaught, which is perfect. They're going to go for an X-Scissor, and then they come in with the Vigoroth here. So this might in fact be the exact same team we saw 2 battles ago. We go for the Superpower, we get a shield from my opponent, and we go for another Superpower, and this is a CMP tie as well, which is absolutely perfect. They let it go through, they do tank it because of the attack drop, but I'm happy to just let this Chesnaught go down. This time I come straight in with the Breloom here because I know that there's no point bringing in the Salazzle. So I'm just going to shield this up, expecting the Obstagoon in the back. They go for an X-Scissor. It's actually a Jellicent, so this is still a decent matchup for us, especially because we do have a shield and an energy advantage. Going for the Seed Bomb here, and then I'm going to go for one more counter and attempt to catch the move here on my Salazzle. Unfortunately, they do not throw, but at this point I have nearly a Poison Fang, so I'm just going to shield this up. They go for a Bubble Beam bait, which is unfortunate, but I'm going for the Poison Fang here, and they still have to go for a Shadow Ball against both my Pokemon, which they're not able to do, so I can just Poison Jab, farm them both down, and I'm able to take that game. Now going into the next match, we lead into an Obstagoon. So if you saw yesterday's video, you'll know that I like to go to 5 Poison Jabs and then switch to catch the Night Slash here onto the Chesnaught. Chesnaught is the bulkiest Pokemon on this team. They come in with a Trevenant, and they're going to go for the move here. And I'm just happy to let this go through. They go for a Seed Bomb, perfectly fine with me. They're actually able to get to one more Seed Bomb before I even get to my Energy Ball, so I'm just going to let it go down here. I'm going to come in with the Salazzle here. I know that I can go up to the double Poison Fangs before I throw, but these Shadow Claws actually started to chunk, so I thought I'll just throw it there. They come in with a Qwilfish. Now Qwilfish, kind of a problem for this team, but we do have 2 shields, so we're definitely going to make the most of them. We're going to shield this up, and we will get to another Poison Fang before they can throw their next Aqua Tail, and we really want to just debuff their defense as soon as we can. They actually switch into Obstagoon, giving me an opportunity to completely farm them down with the Breloom here. They're going to go for a Night Slash, so another Obstagoon not running Cross Chop, and that is really handy for me because we do resist the Night Slash and it does very little damage. We actually go for a CMP tie there with the Aqua Tail, which is perfect. Breloom is so attack weighted that it wins CMP up against the Qwilfish, and at this point we just get to a Poison Fang. They need to get to 2 Aqua Tails to take me out. Poison Fang doesn't quite KO, but I'm able to Poison Jab, farm them down, and take that game. And you'll see we did go 5-0. Those actually weren't the 5 battles in that set, but I just put that in to show you guys that this team really did well for me. I had 2 5-0s and I think 2 4-1s and a 3-2 on the day, so really well with this team. I go for a Superpower up against this Wigglytuff. Unfortunately, they are kind of countering me, but that doesn't matter too much because I can come in with the Salazzle here, absolutely destroy it with the Poison Jabs here, and they're not even able to get to a charge move, but maybe that would have been better as it would have stalled the clock slightly. So unfortunately we have to go for the Dragon Pulse here, and our switch clock just barely doesn't come up. I come in with the Breloom. I will be able to tank this move. I expect them to go for a Rock Slide blindly, and unfortunately they have a Vigoroth in the back, so if I just shielded that up I would have been able to fully counter farm them down. But unfortunately I'm not able to, and I lose that game. So into the next game, we lead into a Noctowl. This is where we want to see it with this team. We really don't want to see it up against my 2 back Pokemon, as they are both double weak to the flying typing. I typically just go straight for the Poison Fang, and then the second one I go for a CMP tie here, forcing them to shield and probably, well, they're not going to have any residual energy here, so that is perfect. Gonna let the Salazzle go down. I'm expecting that this is their best answer to my back Pokemon, so they should be somewhat safe, and I am right because they come in with a Vigoroth here. So I'm just gonna go for a superpower and then switch into the Breloom here. So I go for the superpower here. This should get a shield from my opponent. And now I'm going to switch into the Breloom here. The opponent is going to go for a Body Slam. I will shield this up. I don't know what is in the back just yet. And it's a Licky Tongue. So we're going to go up for 6 counters. Go for the Dynamic Punch. Is this going to KO? Yes, it is. Boom, we take out the bulky Licky Tongue and we're able to get to a Seed Bomb. And this will obviously KO from this range. They have about 2 HP remaining. And we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle here, we lead into another Crustal lead, so super common lead right now. And my opponent comes in with the Bubble Jellicent here, so I'm going to go for an Energy Ball, and this should get a shield or do a lot of damage. We get a shield from my opponent. Now the previous Jellicent that I went up against only had Bubble Beam, so I let it go through. It's an Ice Beam, that does a ton of damage, but we do get to a superpower. And we get the final shield from my opponent, which is absolutely perfect because I can come in with the Breloom here. I will have to shield once, but I will be able to get to a Seed Bomb before they can get to 2 Ice Beams in this matchup. So I'm going to go for it straight away. I wasn't keeping track of their energy, but they can't store back-to-back Ice Beams, so I go for it there. They come in with the Vigoroth here, so at this point I know that I can shield once and fully counter farm down a Vigoroth, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. I counter them down. I'm actually gonna switch into Salazzle, try to get to a Poison Fang, or at least force them to throw their energy. Rock Blast takes me out, but I'm able to get to a Dynamic Punch, and this is going to do huge damage to the Crustal. It nearly takes him out, and one more counter is just barely able to take out the Crustal before the Smackdown goes through, and I'm able to take that game. Into the next game, we lead into an Empoleon. This is really bad for me. I'm going to switch into the Chesnaught here. They come in with Trevenant. Now at this point, I'm thinking that I really need to win Switch Advantage because there's absolutely nothing I can do with Salazzle up against that Empoleon. So I am going to shield this because they let that move go through, and I should be able to get to the full farm down before they can get to back-to-back Shadow Balls. So I will call that this is just a Seed Bomb, which it is, which is perfect. I see the grass, I'm flying typing, and I throw my move straight away thinking it's a Tropius, but it's not. It is a Jump Bluff, and unfortunately I've just debuffed my attack, meaning that they're going to be able to farm me down quite easily with the Bullet Seeds, and my Smackdowns were doing much less damage, which is unfortunate. They're going for the move straight away. I anticipate they switch instantly into Empoleon, so I switch out as well, which is perfect. I can shield this and easily counter farm down this Empoleon. And as well, I know that they can't have back-to-back charge moves on the Jump Bluff, so I'm going for one counter, throwing the Seed Bomb here. And then I'm going to go for a CMP tie here after 2 more Bullet Seeds, but unfortunately they don't throw straight away. But my opponent looks like they're farming to 100 energy, but once again they can't have back-to-back moves. Acrobatics takes us out, but one Poison Jab is able to farm them down before they get to the next charge move, and I'm able to take that game. Into the next game, we lead into yet another Crustal, so super common lead, and even though we are losing these leads, we're actually able to take a lot of these games. My opponent throws before they get to a Shadow Ball, and they're actually running Foul Play, which is really good for me because we do resist both their charge moves in that case. I go for the Energy Ball, and they do let it go through, so I am going to definitely shield this up and win Switch Advantage up against this Trevenant. And my opponent is going to come in with a Jellicent here, so that is really nice. I'm going to go for the Energy Ball on a CMP tie if they did have Bubble Beam, but they probably don't. I think it was just that first Jellicent that had Bubble Beam. The rest of them seem to have Bubble, Ice Beam and Shadow Ball. They go for the Ice Beam, it takes me out here, so I'm going to come in with Salazzle here, just forcing them to throw their energy as soon as they reach their move. Shadow Ball takes us out, but I come in with the Breloom here, and now this is going to be tricky, but I might still be able to win this because we are resisting the fast moves from both Crustle and the Jellicent. So we go for a Seed Bomb here after 4 more counters. My opponent decides not to shield it, and now I'm going to go for 4 more counters once again, go for the Seed Bomb here, and this is going to be a race to the next charge move. We get a shield from the opponent, and we get to the Seed Bomb on the CMP tie. We easily win CMP, and we take out the Jellicent to take that game. So once again, Breloom just absolutely coming in clutch and sweeping that game. Into the next game, we lead into a Blaziken lead. Now, I actually didn't see very many Blaziken in this cup. We go for the Poison Fang on the CMP tie with the Blaze Kick. We do win CMP up against a Blaziken, which is quite crazy. They're going to go for a move here, and even though we resist all of Blaziken's moves, that still does huge damage. They come in with a Shadow Zapdos. Shout out to Kanetto, as that is his signature Pokemon, and he just reached Legend in the Summer Cup running the Shadow Zapdos. But here my opponent throws at an awkward time, meaning I get a full smackdown through, and I'm able to farm them down before they get to the back-to-back Drill Pecks, which is perfect for me because I didn't want to use both shields there. I go for the Energy Ball, my opponent lets it go through, which is perfect. I'm just going to shield this up, and they go for a Seed Bomb, bait, they switch into the Blaziken for no reason at all, and now I'm going to be able to smack down, farm down this Trevenant. They go for another move straight away, Seed Bomb doesn't do much damage, and I'm able to take them out. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next game, we lead into a Walrein. So an interesting fact here, Walrein actually wins the 0 shields, even just going straight Icicle Spear, because Salazzle is just so glassy that we can't really tank 2 Icicle Spears here. So I'm going for the first Poison Fang. And actually, maybe we would just barely live the Icicle Spear here, but I don't want to risk it. I'm going to go for another Poison Fang here on the CMP tie with their next Icicle Spear. Hopefully they do let this go through, and they do. And they come in with an Obstagoon. I switch into Chesnaught, and they have an Azumarill in the back. So I'm just going to no-shield this. I can tank any move from the Azumarill, even a Play Rough, because Chesnaught actually isn't that glassy. It's got a decent amount of bulk to it. We go for the Energy Ball here. I'm expecting to get a shield from this Azumarill, and we do. And as well, they do throw their energy, which is perfect. Ice Beam takes us out. I'm going to come in with the Breloom here, and because we have a shield advantage, I am, well, very safe. But I'm going to go for the Seed Bomb here. It doesn't quite take him out, so you know what? I don't even want to use this last shield. I'm going for the Poison Fang here, taking out the Azumarill, and my opponent realizes that counter is absolutely going to destroy their Obstagoon, so I'm able to take that game. Into the next game, we lead into a Lurantis, which is not a very common Pokemon in this meta. But we also kind of hard counter it with the Salazzle, so I'm not going to complain about that. They go for a Lunge here. I'm going to go for the Superpower just before they reach the second charge move, as Lunge is going to be sort of threatening at this point. We take out the Galvantula, and I expect them to come back in with the Lurantis here. And they do, and it looks like they're going to throw just before we get to the Superpower, which is really good timing by my opponent. Leaf Blade takes us out. I'm going to come in with the Salazzle here, and I don't actually know what they've got in the back, so I'm actually going to shield this up. It's not really necessary, but I shield it up anyway. They come in with a Crustle, so I'm going for the Poison Fang, and then I'm just going to be able to fully counter, farm down this Crustle, and shield once, and that is going to be a good game. There's nothing they can do now, unfortunately. Rock Slide is resisted anyway, so I don't know why they threw that, but I can just counter, farm down this Lurantis, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Unfortunately, kind of hard countered them. But going into the next game, we lead into an Azumarill, so they actually switch out straight away into the Graveler here, and I'm actually just going to go straight for a Seed Bomb. Breloom is so squishy that a Stone Edge probably does nearly take it out, so I didn't want to take a risk, and I didn't want to have to use a shield either. So here I'm going to go for a Seed Bomb straight away up against this Azumarill as well. And they do throw their energy, so that's perfectly fine. Breloom has done its job, and I'm going to come in with the Salazzle here, go for the Poison Fang. And we do get a shield from the Azumarill. They switch into the Magcargo here, and I'm coming in with the Chesnaught. I'm going to shield this one up. They go for a Rock Tomb. I'm going to go for 3 Smackdowns, go for the Superpower. And this should be getting the final shield from my opponent, and as well they do throw their move here, so I'm perfectly fine with letting this go through. And at this range I can actually poison jab, farm down this Macargo, and I'm easily going to be able to take out this Azumarill, so my opponent concedes the match. And now going into the final battle of this video, we lead into another Noctowl. So once again, this is where we want to see it with this team. I'm going to go straight for the Poison Fang, making sure that I debuff them straight away so that the second Poison Fang will be threatening. Going to shield up this first Sky attack and then go for a CMP tie. Actually, no I'm not, because my opponent switches into the Vigoroth, so that is a pretty smart play by them. I'm actually going to shield up this Body Slam and then going to farm up a ton of energy and then go for the Seed Bomb here up against this Vigoroth. This will be taking them out or get a shield. Actually, they decide not to shield there, so we're kind of in a tricky situation. My opponent does have 2 shields remaining, which is unfortunate. Going for the Seed Bomb here, and my opponent does shield that up, so I'm going to come in with the Salazzle here, force them to throw their energy into me. And they do. Really good timing there, knowing that I'm just 1 away from the next Poison Fang. I'm going to come in with the Chesnaught. I'm going to be able to farm them down here, and they do have an Obstagoon in the back. So if I can get to the back-to-back superpowers, then I should be able to take this game, especially when they go for a weird timing there. So I'm going to get to the back-to-back superpowers, and you saw me win CMP earlier. We get the first shield from this Obstagoon, and I'm going to win CMP once again up against the Obstagoon. And boom, we take out the Obstagoon there, and I'm able to take that game. And once again, we do go 5-0 in one of those sets. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, then make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. Now, this team was way stronger than I was expecting. Usually when I run spicy teams, they are pretty good, but they're just not quite consistent enough for me to gain a ton of elo. But in the Summer Cup, I started at around 2,300 elo, and today I hit expert rank with this team, so I've gained a ton of elo, and I am going to be using it tomorrow, so hopefully I can climb a little bit more and legend ranking won't be too far away for the last couple of weeks of the season. But with that being said, let's get into the shoutouts from my previous video. So firstly, we've got Zohunger, and they say that they're a fan of the Little Cup and they love using Razorleaf Cottony in the lead. Every dino that they see instantly safe swaps into something like a seal and gets absolutely deleted by the Razorleaf, so that is definitely a cool one to have. Next, we've got Coyote999, who says Snarl Gramble in the Ultra League, as you can force a ton of shields with the spammy charge moves. And finally, we've got Jad, who likes to run Primarina with Waterfall instead of Charm. So you might be seeing a pretty common theme here, as all 3 of these Pokemon usually run Charm, but these trainers are running them with alternate fast moves to surprise their opponents. And you guys know that I hate Charm, so if you can run a Fairy type without using Charm, then that's definitely good, and that's why they're all getting shoutouts here. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.